Did you know most people buy a leg extension and curl machine for the extensions and then end up using the curl side just as much? That's the thing nobody explains properly. Every machine here does two completely different jobs, and almost none do both equally well. Some are glorious on extensions and clumsy. The second you flip into curls, some switch in 3 seconds, some make you unload every plate first. So for each one, I'll walk you through how it behaves in both positions, how much weight it really wants, and how much floor space it takes, because those 3 things decide which one is right for you. All the links are down in the description. Let's dive in. Number 1 is the GMW DLE08 2.0, and this is the heavy artillery. On the extension side, you sit into a 15-degree V-bend seat with a 7-position back pad, an 8-position lever arm, and a 9-position shin pad, so anyone from 5'3" to 6'5" lines up properly. The resistance runs through a pulley and linkage setup rather than a bare pendulum, so tension stays steady instead of collapsing at the top. Flip into the prone curl and that same V-bend seat becomes the star, since the angle holds your hips down and stops your lower back from taking over as you pull. Its party trick works in both positions. A load ratio selector at 1, 1.1, or 1.2, so 2 45-pound plates can feel like 108. 250 pounds of 12-gauge steel means it never budges, not even when you drive the last rep like you're trying to launch the pad through the ceiling. That's exactly who it's for. The lifter moving serious weight with a garage bay to spare and no interest in ever upgrading again. One tip: add a small spacer behind the roller end cap so the pad spins freely and every rep feels smoother against your shin. Here's where it gets interesting because the Mikolo LE12 works exactly like the one you just saw, only built lighter. Same seated extension and prone curl layout on a single frame, same smooth constant tension through the whole range instead of that lever arm lightness at the bottom, same load ratio selector at 1, 1.1, and 1.2. Same quick pin swap between positions. What changes is the construction. Thinner tubing in a smaller section, a more compact frame, 136 pounds against 250, and about half the price. That trade shows up in exactly one number, and it's the number that should decide your purchase. On the curl side, you get a 12-degree tilt with a gap that takes pressure off your midsection, so you can breathe through a hard set instead of feeling squashed into the pad. Changing positions takes about 3 seconds with a pull pin and no plates come off, which is what a leg day should feel like. Last extension done, drop the pin, spin onto your front, straight into curls with the pump still there. Past roughly 270 pounds, the arm does show some flex. Training under that number, which covers most people watching, it's the smarter buy by a mile. Living above it, pay for the thicker tubing of the first one. Now for the one everybody argues about, the LIONSCOOL Ultimate Vi 4.0 in its seated leg extension and lying leg curl setup. Extensions run on a true 1-to-1 pulley ratio, so what you load is what you lift. And with machined aluminum pulleys on reinforced tube gussets, the motion is silent and glassy in a way that surprises people on rep 1. The cam gives you 9 slots, so you set your own starting range and get a real stretch without unbolting anything. On the lying curl, the 3-segment split pad supports your hips instead of one flat slab, and a one-click button swaps between the 2 positions in seconds. What separates it from everything else here is the pair of weight horns, one on each side, which balances the load so the frame never twists under a heavy set. They sit perfectly straight, so clamp your collars on. It fits average to tall lifters best, and if you're around 5'4", you'll want to check the seat positions first. One upgrade the serious crowd swears by: bolt an aftermarket wheelchair-style belt across your waist and your hips stay pinned to the pad, which turns heavy curls into pure hamstring isolation. Now, everything I've just described is the version with the lying leg curl, where you flip onto your front and drive your heels toward your glutes. There's a second version that swaps that for a pad sitting over the top of your thighs, so you stay seated and curl from there. Exactly the same machine otherwise, same frame, same cable system, same everything, and both links are in the description, so it comes down to which curl position you'd rather train in. Ready for the total opposite? The Titan Fitness plate-loaded leg extension and curl version 2 has no cables, no pulleys, nothing to maintain. 11-gauge steel and a straight pendulum arm, which gives extensions a very specific character. Nearly weightless at the bottom, then heavier and heavier as you rise, so all the tension lands at full lockout. Pause a rep there and you'll understand why the old school crowd loves this feel. Curls behave the same way, savage right at the point where your heels reach your glutes. Compare it with the two machines we just covered and you've got the whole debate. They give smooth, even tension everywhere. The pendulum gives a raw, aggressive squeeze at the top and an easy ride at the bottom. The catch is the changeover, since going from extensions to curls means pulling every plate off, moving the arm and reloading, so treat it as rest between exercises or as your cardio. In exchange, you get a 39 by 42 by 36-inch footprint that slides into the tightest garage, plus a rear counterbalance horn where spare plates anchor it during heavy sets, so leave a little clearance behind rather than shoving it flat to the wall. Olympic plates only. This next one solves a problem the others can't touch. The GMWDLE03 splits the whole machine in half with 2 pivot points and 2 weight horns, so extensions are done one leg at a time. Your strong side can't quietly carry the weak one, which is exactly what happens on every standard machine. Load 100 pounds on the right, 30 on the left, run both sets back to back, and close the gap week by week without your good leg carrying the other one. It's a 3-in-1 on the curl side too, with lying curls and standing single leg curls, and that standing version puts your hip in full extension and lights up the glute hamstring tie-in like nothing else here. The split design also lets a 14-gauge frame take 350 pounds per side. Just plan your floor space around the horns, because loading plates on both sides wants about 53 by 53 inches of clearance, more than the frame alone suggests. For the smallest room in the house, the HV06-in-1 changes the math entirely. Inside a folding frame roughly 35 inches long, you get seated extensions, lying curls, seated curls, preacher curls, dips and sit-ups with 4 seat angles, 5 backrest positions, and 5 roller heights. Both curl variations in something this small is genuinely impressive. And the seated curl in particular is what most machines twice its price don't offer. The preacher pad up front does raise the leg pivot higher than a dedicated machine, so it favors taller users and rewards a careful setup. It takes 1-inch and 2-inch plates, saving an older weight set from retirement, and there's some rattle under load, so it's not the quietest choice at dawn. For a spare bedroom where one frame has to cover arms, abs, and legs, that's a fair deal, and folded away it vanishes against a wall. Rounding things off, the GMWDLE02 is the honest entry point. 95 pounds, a simple rotary plate loaded arm on linear bearings, assembled solo in under an hour, and it takes both plate sizes. Extensions and curls both feel light and direct, which suits high-rep, low-load work where the burn matters more than the horn. Keep the weights modest, hit the bearings with a silicone spray rather than anything sticky, and it stays smooth for years. It's the machine for someone starting out, or adding a little extra leg volume to a program that already has squats in it. If you plan to add plates every couple of months, one of the heavier units above will last you longer. So, how to choose? Training heavy with space to spare. The GMWDLE08 2.0. Wanting that exact same machine in a smaller, lighter, far cheaper frame, the Mikolo LE12. Want the purest one-to-one pulley feel and a frame that won't twist, the LIONSCOOL V4.0. Bodybuilding for peak contraction with zero maintenance in a tight garage, the Titan. Fixing a strong side and a weak side, the GMWDLE03. Smallest footprint with the most exercises, the HV06-in-1. Starting from scratch on a budget, the LE02. All the links are in the description, and if you're torn between two of them, tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.